Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today I'm going to give you a preview of Set a Watch Forsaken Isles. This is the final standalone expansion for Set a Watch. It's kind of the culmination of the series. And it's going to be releasing to retail in June. I was provided a review copy to go ahead and give you guys this preview. But I thought I would do a brief unboxing because the box is part of the game. And then give you guys an overview of what happens in Set a Watch in case you're not familiar with it, and then give you my opinions on this one in particular versus the other ones, because this is a standalone expansion, so it can be added in with the others. It can be added to the Doomed Run expansion, which is kind of culminating everything together, and we're going to take a look at that in our next video. But yeah, whether or not this is the right one for you to purchase. So let's go ahead. I've already taken the shrink off. It comes with this really nice sleeve on it. Don't know whether I'll keep it in that sleeve or not, but yeah, very shiny. So all of the main three iterations of Set a Watch come in this size box. The Doomed Run one is a big box that holds everything, but it has this very nice magnetic lid on it, and you're going to flip it over, and you're going to notice that part of the game is built right here into the box. So this is actually kind of like your main board that all the players who are playing are going to share this board. And then on top of that, I'm going to pull some of this stuff out here real quick. Boom. You can see that even on the inside, there are spots for cards. So you actually place cards in here throughout the game and utilize this, so that there's nothing wasted here, which is cool. We have some money punch boards here, as well as a dial for the Golem's rock charges. And here's the little things for those. Set those off to the side. We have our rule book, pretty self-explanatory, goes over everything pretty well. And then at the end, it even gives you, a background on some of the characters. Here is Hunt for the Kraken. This is a mode that you can play in this one. And I believe you could, mix this in with, use this mode in other games now that you have, the tentacle cards. But what this does, and I actually am looking forward to this one, is that it shrinks down the length of Set a Watch. It makes it a shorter game. Sometimes Set a Watch can, for the size of game, can draw on a little longer than expected. No more than an hour though, but it is nice sometimes to just be like, oh, I just want a quick, small, game that travels easily. This is right up your alley. So let's go ahead and actually we'll keep this out here while we go over some things. Let's take a look at some cards first. Actually, scratch that. Let's take a look at some characters. So here's your merchant board. You're going to be able to add items to this, and anytime you take the camp action, that individual will be able to purchase items and actually pass them around to other people. So basically every round, here's just a different take on the merchant, whether you want a male or female merchant. So item cards are something that was brought about in the second iteration of Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin, but then continues on this one. So if items are something that you think would be a good addition to the game, then you definitely want to jump to one of the second or third iteration. So on the back of every player board is your kind of reference sheet. So no separate cards for that. Just take a character sheet that you're not using and flip it over. So what you see here are a few things. One is spots for 3 different abilities. Now, every character has at least 5 abilities. So you're going to have to choose which ones you take in. And there are times that you are given options throughout the game to switch them out. But it's either going to be active or exhausted. You're going to see what type of dice this character rolls. So in this case, this character would be rolling a D6. But the sorceress would be rolling a D8. One of these sets right here. Ooh, and we even have now a D. Look at that. The Earth Golem rolls a D12. So that just tells you the dice you're going to roll. You're going to roll 3 dice out at the beginning of the round, and you're going to use those dice to take actions against a line of evil creatures. That line, the fire that you keep going, which is, you know, part of the theme of this game. Somebody always has to stay behind and keep the fire going. The bigger your fire, the further down the line you can see, possibly taking out creatures before they get right up in front of you. But you're going to roll those 3 dice out, and the higher the number, the better in general. But you can always spend your lower dice to activate these abilities. Or you can activate these abilities simply by exhausting them, flipping them over. But these abilities are also your health. So anytime you are required to take damage from a creature, you have to flip over one of your abilities. If everybody's abilities are all flipped over, you lose the game. And then last but not least, all characters have a camp ability. This is a special ability that they can use when they take the camping action. So generally you play this over the course of 9 rounds, 8 rounds where every character has to camp twice, and then the final round where everybody's involved. So you know you're going to use these. So let's just take a look at these characters here in the Forsaken Isles expansion. So we have the Corsair. She can shuffle black powder card into the creature deck. I'm assuming that goes boom. The Sorceress can increase the campfire reveal level by 1 until the end of the round. So she essentially raises this number up here, but then it'll go back down. The Merchant, equipment item limit 3. Equipped item limit 3, okay. Haggle, reduce the cost of each item in the market by 2 coins. So she's going to be able to hold more equipment and haggle for it. Earth Golem, Rocky Barricade, gain charges equal to the number of summons cards in this game. So summons cards essentially increases the difficulty of the game. So the more difficult the game, the stronger the Earth Golem gets. That's interesting. And the Druid, commune with nature. Look through the nature deck and choose a card to shuffle into the creature deck. Then you may rearrange the cards in the nature deck in the order of your choosing. And Halfling Cavalier, train and mount. You may flip your status card from on foot to mounted, then set one of your unspent dice to any result. So that's a good segue into our additional cards here. These are the small kind of mini Euro size cards that come in the game. This is going to be your items as well as your abilities. So you can see that each character here has various things that are really beneficial. This is the key to the game, is managing your abilities well. But we're looking for the Halfling Cavalier here, and he is right here. So let's take a look at his cards, and I'm guessing, yep, one of them has to do with mounted. So at the beginning of the game, you may choose like this passive one. It's going to take up a slot, but you don't have to put a die on it to activate it. Here we can see his mount up card. Flip your status card to mounted, or to status card to mounted. Mounted, place the top card of the horde into the graveyard. So this isn't my status card, but anyways, you get the idea of, here's a good one, charge. Defeat the first unrevealed creature in line. Then you may dismount to resolve this ability again. So if you have mounted and then you charge and then you unmount, you basically can take out 2 creatures without even being able to see them. So with that, let's take a look at what creatures can do. Actually, real quick, here's just a look at some of the items that you can see. Here you're exhausting it, you're activating it, discarding it, deal 5 direct damage. And you can see none of these cost a ton of money, and there's going to be ways for you to earn money throughout the game. But every time you camp, basically at the beginning of every round, you're going to have 3 of these to choose from to purchase. All right, so now let's take a look at these cards. So here's an example of, and this is basically the rest of the cards here. Your creature, well, here is his mounted and on foot card that I was looking for. I thought it would have been small. All of your creature cards are going to look like this. You can see it's the campfire symbol with the creatures kind of coming through the woods in the background. And then you have your locations deck. Both of these pictures are represented right here. So your creatures, These, the ones with the skulls on them, are special ones that you're going to set aside. These are the unhallowed, and these are kind of like the bosses. But then there's the rest of these. You're going to notice a few things. The health of the creature, the amount of damage this creature does if it attacks you, and then some text at the bottom. So let's talk about this number first. This number is how much power your attack needs to have in order to defeat it. So if you had a d6, you would need help from someone else. But if you had a d6 and rolled a 6 and someone else rolled a 1, you could combine your dice to take out this one jaguar. That, however, is using up 2 dice on one character. Sometimes that may not be very efficient. Let's look at another one here. This guy's only 5. This guy's only 4. So obviously this is a lot of forest creatures here. Here's that black powder we were looking at before. This number here is the amount of damage done if this creature is not taken care of by the time we have all exhausted our dice. So at the end of the round, when we have no more actions we can take to fend off the approaching creatures, then this character is going to attack somebody for 2. Now, we can move that, or we can decide who gets to take that, but that's when you are flipping over exhausting your ability cards. So not only do you not have access to your ability cards, you're getting closer and closer to everyone being fully exhausted. Here are some additional creature cards. So we've got, more forest creatures like the Rocktopus here. So we had here like reveal and defeated. Here we have ongoing keywords. These are all very self-explanatory, but then there was one other one here. So here, for example, first position. If this card makes it all the way up to the front of the line, basically it's going to flap its wings and put out the fire. So your fire would actually go down. So remember, that's this track right here. And if it makes it to the second position, your group gains 1 doom. So, just very interesting gameplay if you're not familiar with First Watch. Basically, you're kind of handling 1 or 2 creatures at a time, but none of them attack until you've exhausted all your dice. So if you can strategically kind of manage your dice and your actions, your ability cards, then you'll be fine. The last set of type of cards we have here is our location cards. So these ones here on the top are going to be your finale cards. You would pick one of these, and this would always end up being on the bottom. This would be your round 9 card. And then you've got some here that, that have this camp symbol on them. These are going to be randomly mixed into the ones that are up here in the box that you could have the opportunity to shuffle into or swap out with the ones that you're about to take on. But these are generally a little easier to handle and have maybe a positive benefit down here at the bottom. You can see that a lot of these don't, like this one actually, Bountiful Bay actually gives you some fire. This one is negative, but very few enemies are coming out in this line. So for the most part, location is going to give you 3 bits of information. 1, how much is your fire going to go down as soon as you enter that location? How many enemies are going to be in the line that you have to defeat? And then here is just some passive text. So in this case, each time an unhallowed is revealed in line, gain 1 doom. Here's one that says each time a direct attack defeats a creature, all adventurers on watch must re-roll their unspent dice. So, very tricky. These normally sit in a pile, 8 of them, plus the finale one on the bottom, normally sit in a pile like this, and they are then flipped over, and this is your active one. You do have the opportunity, whoever is tending to the camp has the opportunity to, check the map here. So if they go and have a die that's a 4 or higher, they can use that die here during the camping phase to check the map. They get to reveal card, the top card of this stack here, and possibly swap it out. So it may not be one of the camp ones. It may, you can see there's tons of cards here, location cards. It may be one that's not a nice one, but it may be better off for you than the current one. And so you would just swap them out, so on and so forth. The camping area is all done here, or the camping phase is all done here on this board. So you basically roll out your dice just the same way the other characters do, but then you would use them here instead of using them to attack enemies. So you can chop firewood. That's pretty self-explanatory. It pushes up the fire track, exposing more and more enemies. You can heal. So by camping, you automatically get to flip over one of your exhausted cards, but if you have more than one that has been exhausted, if you have a 6 or higher, you can heal here. Scouting ahead allows you to look at the cards that are in the line, currently all face down, and maybe you want to swap them out for other cards. And then equip and evoke are going to allow you to swap out your ability cards that are on your player board for some of the ones that are off to the side. That's pretty much it. That's a very general overview for Set a Watch Forsaken Isles. If you are a fan of the Set a Watch series, this should be a no-brainer for you. This being kind of the finale of the trilogy, the third in the trilogy set. There is a lot of fun and interesting creatures and keywords in this one. It's got the same, the Doom from Doomed Run. It's got the merchants from Sword of the Coin. So it's got all of the stuff that they have added up until this point. And then just, in my opinion, some of the best hero options with their abilities and uniqueness out there. So definitely go out and pick this up if you're a fan of Set a Watch. I don't know why you wouldn't. Now, if you are new to the Set a Watch universe and you're looking for the first game to get into, there is something to be said with starting with the original. But if your thoughts are, I am probably will be satisfied with just one version of the game and I'm only ever going to buy one, I would pick up this one because it's got everything, all of the best tricks that they have put into Set a Watch appear in this one. They've got some of the best heroes, looks like some of the best creatures. I would go ahead and pick this one up as your first one. Now, if you plan to, if this looks like a series that you would be interested in, then I would start with the first one. I would start with the original. It's that they're all the same gameplay, so none of them are more heavier than the others. But I would, if I could only have one, I would pick this one. If I was planning to play through the series or, end up with all of them, say you're a collector or this looks like something that would really interest you, then I would pick up the first one and play through the trilogy that way. As far as player count goes, this is one that plays great solo because you can make all the decisions. This game, however, requires you to run 4 characters at a time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So if you're playing 2-player, you each have 2 characters. Playing multiplayer obviously means you have less to think about, less to consider, less to manage, but this definitely is a game that an alpha player problem can persist in. So I think that's why it's so popular with the solo community, because generally solo players can handle running a 4-handed game like this that's cooperative, and then it doesn't matter that you're the alpha player because you're the only one there making decisions. But you very easily can be like, ooh, I'm going to take a little bit from you, I'm going to take a little bit from you, I'm going to use these 2 dice, boom, perfect, and away we go. So highly recommend this for my solo audience, which I know is a lot of what you guys come to the channel for. So that's going to do it for my preview of Set a Watch Forsaken Isles. Again, coming out in June of this year to retail. If you're interested in my preview of Doomed Run, which is the, it's not a standalone, but it is the big box to store everything in it, but also allows you to link games together in almost sort of a campaign fashion. We're going to be previewing that next on the channel. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.